Welcome back! We're learning what it takes to write a story by starting with all the things an author needs to decide upon before they ever start writing. So far, we've covered title, setting, and genre. But when it comes to writing stories, one of the biggest decisions that an author has to make is who is going to be starring in my novel. Now, we call that piece characters. Let's start with the most important character, the main character, or what we call the protagonist. Now, when an author sets out to write a story, we have to think of a character that we think our reader is going to like. That's why it's important to know who you're writing the story for. Grown-up books usually feature grown-ups, and kids' books tend to feature kids. Well, since I was writing this book for my son, I had to think of a character that I thought he would like. Now, he was a big fan of mythology books that had characters that were demigods, children of powerful gods, which makes them interesting characters because they receive this powerful magic from their supernatural parent. Well, the thing about my son is, he didn't just like these heroes. No, in fact, he really liked this one character from a movie series who was meant to be a hero, but ultimately went to the dark side. So, I had a big challenge before me. I had to have a little bit of demigod and a little bit of anti-hero all mashed together in one character. So I started by making my protagonist, 12-year-old Sam Baron, a descendant of Odin, one of the mightiest gods in Norse mythology. Well, being a descendant of Odin means that he's got this powerful magic from the gods. But I needed to give him a little bit of that darkness. So I started thinking, how was I going to do that? And then I thought, we all have two bloodlines. What if he got his demigod magic from his father and his dark magic from his mother? Well, then I thought, what if I made his mother something dark, really dark, like, say, a witch? So now my character, he's got light magic and dark magic all rolling around inside him, which makes for a really complex character. And we don't know what he's going to do. Is he going to rise to be the hero or descend into his dark side? All right, the next important character is the villain. Now, here's a secret to great storytelling. If you want to make a really epic story, you need to make your villain really bad. I mean, the worse the villain, the better the story. Now, why is that so important? Let's use a bully as an example. If a bully gives you a mean look every day, it's pretty easy to ignore. If they say something mean, well, that's worse, but you can still ignore it. If they physically push you around, well, that's harder to ignore. But what if it's all that and more every day, all the time, until you just can't take it? You see, the worse the bully's actions are, the more it forces you to take some kind of action. And action is what storytelling is all about. So, in The Red Sun, I had to come up with a really evil villain. So I think to myself, now, Alane, you need to think up a really epic villain if you're going to sell a lot of copies. So I went to my villain in the story, a witch named Indira, and I thought, well, how is my reader going to know how awful she is? Well, what if I have her try to destroy poor Sam when he's, say, 10 years old? That's pretty bad to have this powerful dark witch going up against a little kid. And then I thought, no, that's not bad enough. So then I think, well, what if he's only 8? 8 is pretty young, just a second grader. But if 8 is bad, isn't 6 worse? Oh, yes, I'd say 6 is really pretty awful. But then I stop and think, well, if 6 is awful, then isn't 4 awfuler? Now I think, wow, I'm really on to something here. If 4 is awfuler, then 2 must be really awful. And then I stop and say, what if he's only a baby? Mind blown, I say to myself, I'll have Indira, this powerful dark witch, try to destroy poor little Sam when he's only a baby by dropping a deadly scorpion in his crib. Now, why is this so important? Because we learn right from the start that Indira is so ruthless, she will do anything to get what she wants, even if it means destroying this poor, helpless child. We see that she is capable of anything, and she's powerful and therefore to be feared. All right, so we've sorted out the good guy and the bad guy. Throw in some sidekicks and minions, and you have the makings of your cast of characters. Now, on to the next big thing we have to decide on, and guys, this one is big. It's the super secret ingredient that all great stories have. See if you can figure out this next piece before we come back for our next video.